Hello mates and lasses, this is 155mm bringing you another video. And today, this is my video response to my good buddy here, JohnnyB34434's. You know, Johnny made a video response back to me telling me his opinion in his God-given right of freedom of speech that he so has in his country. God bless America, and God bless our freedom of speech. You know, some of the things Johnny B said in his video, don't get me wrong, Johnny, I enjoyed your video, but you did kind of dance around the topic a little bit. You know, you have a pretty good education of, you know, when it comes to the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, etc. But you probably should do your research a little more when it comes to the conflicts thereafter, throughout time. One thing I wanted to correct you on was the Gulf War I, okay, which this medal was awarded for. This is the official medal of Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Now, in your video, you alleged that well, first of all, let me get into the fact, and I'll go on to that point here next. In your video, you alleged something about me, something about that I asked you why you wouldn't thank me for my service. I didn't get that. I'll tell you right now, I'm one of the people who's known here not to care about anyone thanking me for my service. That's the least of my cares, dude. And I've even said that in the past. I even said in the past, it's the most annoying shit to hear someone constantly running around saying that. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, they're trying to be nice or whatever, that's cool. But I've said in the past, you know, several times, and I've also said in the past that I've never done anything special. Yeah, I just did my time. Now I like throwing my medals up here. Oh yeah, because Johnny, it doesn't just it makes you mad. Okay, I know you're not going to admit that, but see, I'm not so much concerned about making you mad, because see, I know where you stand. I already know you don't like veterans. See, I enjoy throwing my medals up in front of the vet haters here who like to hide the fact that they despise us vets. That's my whole thing with the medals. And by the way, these are medals. That's another thing, a so-called veteran who came to my channel, which by the way, this guy is also officially a valor thief. Okay. And I'm not talking about the Marine that I called out here a while back. This is another official valor thief who hasn't been caught onto here on the internet yet, who has made many false claims and is a valor thief. Well, this guy came to my channel and alleged that these on my hat are not medals, they're ribbons. No, these are medals. Okay, that's why they call it the Southwest Asia Service Medal and the National Defense Service Medal. Okay, they don't call it the, you know, a ribbon is something like the Army Service Ribbon. These are medals. Now, are they anything special? No. Never alleged they were. I just like to put them on here because I think it's hilarious. You know, any veteran who's afraid to wear his medals that he earned, I consider to be an idiot. You know, do it. I mean, you do it however you want. If you want to look at people, if you're afraid people are going to look at you, if you're a veteran, and you earned those medals, and then you put them on your hat or you put them on your T-shirt, and you're afraid that these Americans are going to look at you and say, "This guy's just bragging." Well, you're a scared little man. Okay, and that's not being directed at Johnny B. This is being directed at other veterans here. At least Johnny B, even though he admitted to being a fake here on YouTube, at least I know where he stands. You know, you got at least respect a man who can come before the camera and tell everybody and tell the whole world that he hates you. Okay, rather than a role player who's a fake, who's going to come around, who are also veterans and fake veterans who are trying to stab their other brother veterans in the back. You know, there's no difference between a valor thief who was never in the military, who claims to have been in the military. There's no difference between that person's stolen valor and a real veteran who earned every medal on his DD-214, who runs around here on YouTube, points the finger at other real veterans, and claims that they never went through the training or they never earned the medals that they earned. That's also a valor thief of the worst kind. The worst kind of valor thief you could even run across. That's even worse than a person who never served in the military, who pins on the Medal of Honor. Even worse valor thief, that's the worst valor thief you can be, is another veteran who runs around alleging other veterans never served or never earned the medals that they earned. That right there, you're stealing those veterans' valor. You are a valor thief. So, at least I consider JohnnyB34434 to be one of the lesser of the evils. You know, at least he actually has the balls to come before the camera. And, you know, let the world know of his wrongdoing. Now we got that taken care of, Johnny B. Let's get back to my initial response video to you. You alleged somewhere in your video, okay, that this medal is for the invasion of another country. Well, my friend, you might want to go look up, and even Wikipedia knows this. Go look up Gulf War I, okay, and you will find that this medal was never awarded for the invasion of another country. You see, my friend, this medal was awarded for the liberation and defense of another country. Which brings me back to my point that you and that's where you messed up, Johnny. If you're gonna debate with me, you gotta stick to the points. I just enjoy how you skated around. How you skated around on the fact, Johnny, that because of this medal, during the 90s, you know, to fill up the gas in your mom's station wagon, all the veterans who earned this medal, they saved your mommy so much money. Okay, at the pump, I'm talking $50 to $100 a gallon, Johnny B. Because had Saddam Hussein, had it not been for the liberation and defense of Kuwait and Saudi, eventually, because Saddam would have annexed Kuwait, and then he would have went after Saudi. Had it not been, guarantee you, you'd have been paying at least $50 to $100 a gallon for your gas tank. So now you're easily able, Johnny, to get inside your car now, drive from point A to point B, and just as you were in the 90s, all that money, just think about all that money that every one of those Southwest Asia Service Medal and every one of those Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal veterans saved you on the gas pumps. Johnny, just think about it. Think about it. All that money they saved you, keeping you safe and keeping you kept in money here, Johnny B. So you're able to pay your rent, and I don't know if you have a little Johnny, you know, if you do have a child, you're able to send little Johnny to school with that extra money. You know, because if you had been paying $50 to $100 a gallon at the pump, you'd probably be homeless here in this country. Wouldn't be able to get to work, wouldn't be able to keep your job, you know, wouldn't be able to provide your child with lunch money. See, our whole nation here would have collapsed. Our whole economy would have collapsed into a third world nation. Okay, just like what these jihadists, and I'm not talking about all the Muslims. I'm talking about the jihadists. That's what they want, dude. If you believe for a minute that you're safe inside this country, you wait till the bombs stop dropping, son. You're going to find out the reality. You better hope to God Israel stays buddies with us. And you better hope to God those bombs and those tomahawks, just like this guy Brock Brader was talking about, better hope to God they keep flying. And, you know, I know all you boys, and this ain't going to you, Johnny, okay? You know, I enjoy debating with you, dude, because you got a real good smart-ass mentality here, and I enjoy that. You know, we can lock horns here all day long, and I'm looking forward to a long debate coming up with you on this. You can tell me and try to prove to me how the ACLU and your founding fathers are the only reason why you haven't lost your freedom of speech in this country. I'm interested to hear your opinions. But all I can say is, Johnny, you better hope those bombs don't stop dropping. I guarantee you. Because if those jihadists get a chance to build up that arsenal, they're going to make light work out of you. And there ain't no Americans in this country who can defend themselves against them. You can't defend yourself against somebody who wants to die and has nothing to lose. And that's the way they believe. And now, Johnny, since you broke out your costume hat, I got my real one on here. Okay? It's got my 2 medals on it that I have on my DD-214, which I'll never be showing here on the internet because I enjoy watching all the Valor Thief veterans who come to my channel accusing me falsely of stolen valor. You know, I don't know how many Valor Thieves I've made here on YouTube, but I enjoy watching these idiots because, you know, it tells me more about them, Johnny, than they even know. No veteran in this country, you don't demand no veteran in this country to prove himself. I don't care who you are. Okay? I don't care who is who. You know, no veteran in this country has to be forced to prove themselves here. Okay? That's why I take every veteran's word for it. If a veteran tells me they're a Navy SEAL, I don't even doubt them for 1 minute. Until I see proof that they're no Navy SEAL, well, out of luck. If y'all want support from me, sorry. I don't play that game. I stick up for veterans here I don't spit on them. And Johnny B, you know, I appreciate knowing where you stand here, even though I don't agree with your video of the portraying of being a veteran. Okay, but at least you have the balls to come before the camera and tell people how you feel here. Okay, because I'm going to tell you something, man. They called you a valor thief, but there's many veterans on here who earned medals on their DD-214 who are no less of a valor thief than you are. For the simple fact of they falsely alleged other veterans here of stolen valor. When you do that, doesn't matter how much legitimate of a veteran you are and how correct your DD-214 is, you're still a valor thief of the worst kind, even lower than Johnny B here. And Johnny, you know, I appreciate you going to the back and getting your funny little costume hat to put on. But I'm gonna show you something that I'm going to advise you not to do here on YouTube, Johnny. Okay? Because there's a difference between a real uniform and medals and a costume. Well, you see this, Johnny? This right here is a real medal. You see that outstretched hand right there? That's right. This is a real medal. Now I'm going to advise you never to do this on camera, Johnny, because there could be very big consequences against you via the Valor Act. But you see this medal, Johnny? You know, there's been a lot of guys on here who have accused me of never even being a veteran. But the funny thing is, Johnny, I'm going to pin it right here on my shoulder, in the face of the Valor Act, in the face of the stolen Valor Act, on the World Wide Web here over the internet. I'm going to pin one of the medals in my collection, Johnny, here on my ready-made daily uniform. By the way, it's my shirt that says Army on it. Because see, I can pin this medal anywhere I want to pin it. See that? Just like fearlessly, I pinned this medal, a real medal, Johnny, on my chest. Again, nothing special. Just, it's, you know, means something to me, but doesn't mean shit to anybody else in this country. And I know that. That's why I throw it up here. But just like I fearlessly pinned this medal on my chest, Johnny, I advise you not to do that. Because you know what? Even though they label me, or they have, some of these fakes and these valor thieves have labeled me a valor thief here in the past, Johnny. And I got to respect the fact that you actually have the balls to come before the camera and say what you mean. These boys on here, these valor thieves who have falsely accused me of being a valor thief, they don't have the balls to file a Valor Act claim against me, Johnny. Because I will hand their asses to them in front of any judge in any court of law. And then when I'm done with them, I'll sue them civilly and buy myself another Barrett rifle. Because I can afford the finer things in life.